Apologies for the YouTube hiatus, but I'm back. I'm afraid that life has got in the way recently with a house move. So I've now moved to Congleton from Liverpool. Also, work has been pretty busy, but we're out the other side of that now, and ready to rock and roll for the summer. So last weekend I competed at the Dam Buster Triathlon, which is at Rutland Water in the standard distance or Olympic distance event. It's a European Championship qualifier for 2025 in Istanbul. So I had entered at the beginning months ago, hoping to qualify, and then realised that the event started at 6:30 a.m. And required me to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it was on the same weekend that I was moving house. So it didn't go down particularly well with members of the family involved, and I also failed to move my bike shoes, which I realised at 7 o'clock the night before. So I was helpfully bailed out by a local friend. So thank you, Harry Jackson, for that. But it didn't lead to the most optimum preparation or most optimum bike performance. But I was really excited to race, hence why I still did it. So last week I saw a huge jump in my swim performance just from a coaching tip from Joe Skipper. I realised that I was reaching out in front, and basically, so if you see from the camera, I was basically with my hand on top, very near the top of the water. So all this area was acting as a brake for me when I was swimming in the glide phase, and just by simply changing my hand position to more like that out in front of me, in the angle of my arm going into the water, slightly more acute, I was able to knock off a substantial amount of time off my swim. So I was super excited to get in the open water. I haven't swum open water in a year. So I was really excited to get out there, and I'd also splashed out on some Form swim goggles. And for those of you who don't know what Form swim goggles are, I've got them here. This is not a sponsored video, by the way, so don't get any ideas about that. But yeah, so basically it's got this little so it's got a heart rate sensor just here that sits on your temple, and then this is basically a virtual reality display. So obviously sits on your eyes, but then you've got a virtual reality display in front of you that shows your pacing, split time, and actually open water will connect to your Garmin, so it's able to track pretty accurately your swim time in the open water. So I'd been using them in training and really enjoying them. So to use them in a race, I was pretty excited for. So 6:30 rolls around. I'm thankful for a few shots of the swim start, thanks to my mother, who drove there separately from a different destination, having got up at about 3 o'clock the day before as well. So massive shout out to her and the labs for coming along to watch. But as you can see, it's pretty sunny. And the front of those goggles are not tinted, so we'll see how that plays out. But anyway, I was feeling way more confident, a lot less nervous about swimming open water than I had been in the previous years. So I was really pleased with that. I wasn't I'd got to sleep the night before, even if it was for only 3 hours. I wasn't particularly stressed about it, so that's a bit of a change for me. So that was good progress. And yeah, so gun goes off. This is the second wave of the swim, hence there's not that many people on the start line, but obviously I think there were 7 or 8 waves of that many people, so it was a big event. And they were set off in 4-minute intervals. So we set off, I think you can see from the image that the sun's off to the left. So on the way out, magical, absolutely magical. I was splitting high 130 per 100 meters. I was swimming with the guys that usually I'm spat out the back straight away. Actually had some company in the water, which was nice when they weren't swimming into you. But then, yes, it soon took a slightly downward spiral, and my joy was slightly subsided as we reached the far buoy and turned left and straight into the sun at 6:30 in the morning, and I literally couldn't see a thing. Not ideal. Swam into a kayak who then pointed me in the right direction, and the right direction was the sun, so I still couldn't see the buoy. I popped the map. You can see the map there, but I think that point is the top. So you've gone out, and then my line is a bit like that because I've swum into the kayak and eventually do find the top buoy, but yeah, I'm not sure how much extra I've swum there and how much time I've wasted. Hence the middle split for the middle 500 meters is substantially slower, and then once I get round that far buoy, the top left, I do pick it up again coming back. So all in all, I was really pleased. I wanted to split 145s. I've split 147. So I can't really argue with that. It's substantially better than last year. Just astronomically better. So again, I feel like I can make improvements because I've only sort of had this slight improvement very, very recently. So I think I can build upon it, and my confidence is there. So it's looking, finally it's looking up on the swim. So into transition, and I'd even put some hoob lube on my wetsuit, so I was able to get that off a bit quicker than usual. So if you don't use that, then definitely get some of that. And then onto the bike with, as I've said, borrowed shoes, which it was disappointing. I've had an injury, so I've had a glute injury for the past probably 6 weeks, and along with work, just the time required on the bike just hasn't been there. I think I'd ridden once in the past 2 weeks before the event, and then prior to that I'd been on off because of this glute injury. So it is what it is on the bike. I felt it's interesting looking at the stats as well, that I felt I was continually pushing, but my heart rate was, if you see from the graph, it's just gradually coming down. I just didn't feel like I could get my usual power out, and I think that's related to the cleat position on the bottom of the shoe not being in my bike fitted position, so it just felt a bit off. But I got round 107 for 40k, so with a number of, it was quite a tight course from a lot of people on course as well. You can see from the map, there's a lot of switchbacks, and that's a 2-lap course, so you've got those switchbacks twice. The only thing that I was actually quite pleased about from the bike was actually caught on video by mum as I came into T2, and usually I make an absolute horlicks of getting off the bike and look absolutely terrible. Mum managed to catch on camera. She insults me a bit before, saying that I can't get off my bike, but I actually managed to do a little cheeky flying dismount. So relatively pleased with that. I'm glad that it was caught on camera. It needs to get better. I need to be able to get my feet out of my shoes on the bike and have them on the bike to start with, and just put my feet straight in the shoes instead of putting my shoes on in transition and then clipping in. So I know these things that I need to do to get those probably 30 seconds that you could save by doing that. So again, needs to be worked on before September. But yeah, and hopefully it'll be a bit better once I get my own bike shoes back on, and I've got a bike fit with Matt Bottrell next on the 4th of July. So it'll be interesting next bike. And then onto the run. I felt okay. Again, my heart rate was much lower. I've no idea if that's just being a bit tired. I know it's pathetic, but a bit more tired than usual. Lack of sleep. I just didn't feel that I could get my I felt the effort was there, but the heart rate just wasn't budging as much as it usually does. And you can see from the splits on the run that I went off at what I felt was sort of threshold pace. Couldn't quite sustain that threshold pace of the mid 3:45s per k, and I was a bit more than that. And you can see from the last couple of k, I'm really starting to struggle, and it goes over 4-minute kilometers for kilometer 8 and 9. But it was to run sub 40 off the bike is okay. I ran a 10k race the day before and ran 37 minutes flat. I've got a 10k next weekend as well, where I'd hope to be challenging that 36-minute mark for that. But in the middle of triathlon off the bike, I think 38 minutes is about right for me at the moment. So a bit more than that, but we'll take it. And yeah, all in all, fairly solid display. First sort of proper Olympic distance of the season with an open water swim. And from the results, so total time was high 2:16s, I think, 2 hour 16 minutes. So and it looks as if I've got a decent chance of getting that qualification spot for Istanbul. So I need to decide if I will actually take that up. It's just slightly different from France this summer, as my parents are kindly going to drive my bike over. I don't think they'll be offering to drive my bike to Istanbul. So it might be a slightly more complex and complicated affair if we do go ahead with that. So anyway, I'll keep you informed about it. And yeah, what have I got coming up? So 10k this weekend, just a local one with Kate. I've got a Tittisworth, for those that you know it, doing a half marathon, sort of over the Roaches, and a lot of incline. So that's on the 14th of July, and then potentially looking at doing my next Olympic distance at the end. Sorry about that. At the end of July, and that's in Birmingham, I think. So thank you very much for coming back to watch this, if you did, and like, comment, subscribe, and let us know any events that you've got on, or anything else you'd like to see on the channel. So thanks for listening, guys. Cheers.